So you've done a bit of work, you've been productive, you've gone to the gym, you've been meditating, you've been mindful, you've journaled, and now you tell yourself, I've done a lot of good things, so that means I can have a bit of chocolate. I can play a bit of video games, I can watch a bit of Netflix, I can waste some time and it'll be okay because I've been doing good. And so you indulge in the bad habit that you really know you shouldn't indulge in, but you know that it feels good, so you go and do it anyway. But then what now? What's next? You've had the thing that you wanted. You've had some pleasure, and it passed. The pleasure lasted merely seconds. And so what now? What are you going to do next? Are you going to move on and go back into doing productive things? Or will you have more a bit of the bad habit because it was easy to get and it was very pleasurable? The vast majority of the time, people will just do more of the bad habit than moving on and getting on with something good or productive. And so you had the pleasurable thing, but what is next? What's the second consequence of you eating that bit of chocolate? Of course, the first consequence is that it tastes nice and you're able to cure the craving that you've been having. But then you have the pleasure, it passes, and then you sit and think to yourself, that wasn't fantastic. I didn't really need to do that. I could have had something else, had tea, and the craving probably would have went away and I wouldn't feel disgusting or sick now. And so the second consequence would probably be something like that. You would kind of regret doing it in the first place. And then you may feel a bit disgusting or sick, and you feel the chocolate in the bottom of your stomach, and it just feels like the chocolate is making your stomach bulge out even more. And that would be the third consequence. And the fourth one would be something like, it may be embarrassment or shame that you ate that chocolate, because now you know that you're not living like a true masculine man who delays gratification and doesn't give in to his emotions, but you give into your emotions. And now it wasn't even worth it, even though your body's been craving it for so long. And so is it worth doing the bad habits if you spend the rest of the day feeling insecure and inadequate? You may eat too much chocolate and be too embarrassed to leave your room and see anybody else. You may hide your stomach because you're bloated from all the shit you've eaten. And so the main point of this video would be to think about not only the first consequence of the actions that you take, but also the second, third, fourth, and however many more that you need. Because if you live life looking at the first consequence of everything that you do, you're not going to end up anywhere good. Because of course, all of the bad things that are so tempting have a good first consequence and then bad second, third, fourth, and down consequences. But the good things that are difficult and a bit stressful and it's hard work, the first consequence of them is difficulty or stress or discomfort. But then comes pride because you did a difficult thing even though you didn't feel like it. And then you feel competence because you know that not a lot of people could do what you just did. And then you feel a sense of masculinity because you know that you're living true to your soul as a masculine man. And you living like that makes you walk with a straighter back because you are confident about the things that you do, and you don't need to have bad body posture where you're tucking yourself in to make yourself look smaller because you're so embarrassed of everything that you do and what you look like. And the main point of this video is to think about the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and however many consequences that you need to think about of the actions that you take, and ingrain them into your head. Because most people think work is stressful, so I won't do it. Resting is relaxing, so I will do it. And I'm really trying to get myself back on track, build my discipline. And so I understand that I need to think that work difficult, but then rewarding. I feel competent, I feel masculine, and I feel prideful. Relaxing is comfortable at first, but then I feel lazy, then I feel stupid, then I feel feminine and weak, and so I understand it's not worth it. And so it would be a good idea for you to write out the list of consequences of the things that you do most. And not only the things that you do most, but also the things that you're most tempted by. Because you'll always be able to look of the consequences of the good things and of the bad things. And the more you write it and the more you read over it, the more it will get ingrained in your head. And then you will instinctively know that you need to work instead of relaxing, because working will give you meaning and feelings of competence and masculinity. And you know that laying down to watch a bit of Netflix while eating some shitty sweets is not worth it because you're going to feel horrendous afterwards. And it will be difficult to get into that kind of routine of things early on. And that is exactly why you should meditate and be mindful, so that you can keep yourself in the present moment and not think about the first consequences of the bad habits and to only think about the first consequences of the good habits. And once you develop your mindfulness and become so self-aware in the moment that you realize what you want to do and what you don't feel like doing, and then are able to think about the longer term consequences of each action, then it just means that you become invincible to any emotions and urges that you may feel, because you become so self-aware of everything that you do that you would never do anything bad, because you understand what you should be doing and shouldn't be doing. And not only understand it, but you will know in thorough detail exactly what will happen if you do a bad habit or if you do a good habit. And once that becomes your natural way of thinking, you will just become invincible. You will get all the things that you wanted from life. You will become rich, become successful, feel even better about yourself, gain more attraction from women, and basically just live exactly the kind of life that you want. Click and watch this video right now. Put in enough time and attention, because that will make anything into reality.